Carolyn Doobie here. What's the play for today? Well, today I'm going to talk about one of the ways that I love to use my gel press prints. Now, if you are like me, when you print, you make a lot of prints because it's just so much fun to make them. And some of the prints, well, they have these magical patterns on them, and some have this cool color part. And then, well, you can see how my stacks build up on those. One of the ways that I really get to use my favorite parts of a print is by using them when creating collages, and in this case, crazy collage critters. Well, here's the stack of gel press prints that I'm working with today. All different colors, patterns. Some of them have already had some things cut out of them. That'll work wonderfully for this. And all of this play is inspired for me by a Roald Dahl quote. That's "There are no strangers in here, just friends you haven't met." So I'm going to see what kind of friends and critters pop up when I start looking at these prints. Now this one, I saw this sort of ovally, egg-shaped, wonky kind of shape, and right in the middle, that blue, to me, was the most wonderful blue belly button. So as I'm looking for a head to go on this, of course the head should match the belly button. Shouldn't your head always match your belly button? So now I've brought out the blue in the belly button. What am I looking for next? Well, I've got a body, I've got a head, so now it's time to think arms and legs. So I'm looking for the right color pattern that's just saying legs to me for this. And that bright green, well, that's the one that called to me for legs. So I'm going to cut some very simple shapes here, and you can see how little paper this actually uses. So that if you've got scraps and odds and ends, those also work extremely well for making different collage critters. Now, green legs, I mean, we just can't have green arms. Of course not, we couldn't just have green arms. But orange arms, now that would work very well. Now, clearly this is an imaginary creature, so I can do the arms however I want. I can make them however long I want, whatever size I want, and there's a lot of freedom in that. And it also means I don't have to measure anything. I don't have to sweat things being exactly the same size or length. Arms don't have to match each other here, so one arm can be shorter than the other. And now that I've got all the parts I want to put on this critter, now what I do is the final auditioning for the head. Do I want it up high? Do I want it down low? Because it does kind of give a different look as you move the different parts around. Now I've got it where I want it. It's time for the commitment, the gluing down part. So that glue stick, just a little bit of glue, stick it on there, and all of a sudden my critter is going to become one solid piece of fun. Now this was a pretty traditional critter. You can see kind of the humanoid look to it here, arms, legs, body, head. But there's another quote by Roald Dahl that's going to influence my next critter. And this one is, "A little nonsense now and then is relished by the wisest man." So I'm going to take that quote to mean that if I'm doing a little bit of silly play here, that means then I'm pretty smart. See, like how I find those quotes that justify what I want to do? I've put those two orange spikes up there, and I was kind of feeling a little bit of a bunny vibe, but then just felt a little sillier because I really liked those orange things sticking up, so I made a bunch more of them. Now with this, I'd like to tell you that I have some kind of grand plan in mind, but I really don't. I'm just cutting out things that call to me on the different prints. I'm looking for the next print that I want to work with, and I thought that one, I'm like, nah, not feeling that one. And so I kept flipping through until one really called to me. Now, I love this print, and I'm also not afraid to do things like rip it up, because I've made that print, I know I can make more. Now I was thinking this might be the body for it. That was where I was kind of going at this point. But then I really didn't like it there at all. I thought, bow tie? It would be kind of fun as a big old bow tie. But no, that wasn't quite it for me either. And then all of a sudden I knew exactly what I wanted to do with this print. I'm going to use a little bit of this to round out the face. So it had been sort of an unusual sort of head shape up there, but now having the yellow over there, it's going to actually become more like a face. So this critter is turned to the side. So for the body, I decided to go with more of a rectangular shape. Now on these prints, any of the patterns that you're seeing on them, those were created with stencils from over at StencilGirl Products. You can get patterns into your prints with the gel press plate using stencils, found objects, paint lids, rubber stamps. I mean, just about anything can put pattern and texture into your prints. Now for the leg part, I decided two legs were cute, but I was having such fun making them, I thought, why not? Let's make some more. So this little guy has, well, a little bit of octopus going on for him. Once I've got it where I want it, I'm going to glue it all together. Well, that last one had a bit of an alien vibe going on with it, and for this one, I'm going to turn to Mother Nature for a little inspiration. I wanted to make a cute little bird that would kind of be sitting in a tree around my house. I was thinking kind of like a cardinal. Yeah, clearly from the neck on that, I didn't cut out a cardinal. I got a little more duck to it. So I decided I'm just going to roll with it and see where it takes me. After all, these are imaginary creatures. But I wanted to put some wings on it, so I've got those on there, and I want a really big beak that stands out. So orange, that will really pop against this. So I got this giant beak for this bird. Now, how am I going to get the bottom of the bird to be the exact same size as the top part? Well, wait till you see this magical trick. It's a pencil mark. Yep. Just hit it with that pencil mark, and now it's even. That way it looks like I had some kind of planning or measuring going on, but we all know there'll be none of that when it comes to me. And now we need some legs. Now this bird, he needs some long legs because, well, if you're gonna rock that blue and pink body, of course you need big bright legs. And guess what? No, they do not have to be the exact same size because, well, this is an imaginary bird. Although I would so love to run across this one on a pond. Now, as I'm gluing the wings on, I'm going to have to call on my first grade memories around Thanksgiving. Remember when you make those turkeys with the big feathers coming out of the back of it? Well, that's about what I end up doing here because I just can't quite get the feathers to make me happy with just two, so I'm going to add a whole bunch more of them on here. And I'm sure my first grade teacher is so proud of me for remembering those things that we did around Thanksgiving together. So what if you're brand new to gel printing and you don't know how to make prints yet? Not a problem. I have got a getting started video and downloadable PDF for you explaining to you all the basics, everything you need to dive in and start making your own colorful pattern papers. Well, thanks so much for joining me for today's play, and thank you for letting me be a part of your colorful journey.